Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is April 9th, 2024, and tomorrow is the big day, the Champions League day, as Barcelona are set to face off against PSG in the quarterfinals of the European competition. And I have the entire lowdown for you, including the squad list, who has traveled to Paris, and all the statements by the respective coaches. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and I know I'm coming to you live, but this is not a live podcast. I simply had an incredibly long day at work, so I don't have time to film, edit, and post. So this is why I'm doing this live video. So this is not going to be a podcast, so I won't be reading the comments out loud, and it's not going to be that long. It's just going to be really quick, just to discuss the entire lowdown on tomorrow's match between Barcelona and PSG in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Now, having said that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Now, let's talk about tomorrow's match because the Champions League is officially back. I'm very, very excited. The quarterfinals are officially back. And in fact, today we had two amazing matches, a total of 10 goals in today's matchups. It's the highest amount of goals scored in a round of Champions League in the last 13 years. There's a total of 10 goals, 6 of them in the Real Madrid versus Manchester City match, where it was 3 versus 3, and the other 4 in the Arsenal Bayern Munich match, which was 2 versus 2. So two exciting matches today. Tomorrow, we have, of course, the big one, Barcelona versus PSG, or PSG versus Barcelona, where we all hope that Barcelona could take a home victory. And that way we can be one step closer to qualifying to the semifinals, which is something that we haven't done in a very, very long time. Now, the team has officially traveled to Paris. They have officially landed in Paris. In fact, they had their first practice session today in the Parc des Princes, or the PSG stadium. And look, this is the list of the players who have traveled with the team today. I will make this bigger for you so you can read it. But these are the players who have traveled to Paris to participate in tomorrow's match, which is Marc ter Stegen, Joao Cancelo, Ronald Araujo, Iñigo Martinez, Ferran Torres, Pedri, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Iñaki Peña, Joao Felix, Andreas Christensen, Marcos Alonso, Oriol Romeo, Vitor Roque, Sergi Roberto, Frankie de Jong, Ilkay Gundogan, Jules Koundé, Astralaga, Lamine Yamal, Marc Casado, Fermín López, Cubarsí, Marc Guiu, and Héctor Fort. And as you notice, there are 2 asterisks, one next to Pedri's name and one next to Frankie de Jong's name, which states at the bottom in small print that those 2 players have traveled with the team but have not gotten the medical clearance yet. It's expected that Frankie could get the medical clearance and play in tomorrow's match. Pedri is a bigger doubt, with most likely him not playing until the second leg. However, Xabi Hernandez in the pre-match press conference did say that everybody that has traveled to Paris will be available for tomorrow's match. So maybe that tells us that both Pedri and Frankie will be available for tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. But one thing is that Andreas Christensen has been fully cleared. There's no asterisk next to his name, so he's definitely available and healthy for tomorrow's match, which is great news because he has been doing a good job in a pivot position. And speaking of the players who have traveled to Paris, look who traveled with the team. Gabi himself. Gabi has traveled with the team. He was present in the practice today in Paris, which is pretty awesome to see. You know, if you ever had doubt about Gabi being totally involved with the team or being the heart of the team, as Xabi Hernandez has described it, well, this is further proof that all of that is true, because he's injured. He's not going to play. He could have easily stayed home, watched the match from the comfort of his couch on his TV, but instead traveling with the team, which I think would be great for everybody involved. It'll be great for the team because, as Xabi said, Gabi is the heart of the team. So I'm sure that his teammates will appreciate him there, being present, encouraging them, supporting them. I think it'll be good for him too, because even though he is going through recovery, you know, to be surrounded by his teammates, to be surrounded by his coach, to be able to travel with the team, I think that's going to help him a lot. And half of the recovery is mental. So to be in a good mental state, it only means that Gabi will do even better with his recovery, which he is doing better than initially expected. He's actually ahead of schedule for recovery. So great news, and really great to see our absolute lion traveling with the team and being present in practice despite not being able to participate because, of course, he is out for the rest of the season. Now, as always, there was pre-match press conferences ahead of tomorrow's match. Started with Luis Enrique because, of course, the coach of the home team starts first. And this is what Luis Enrique had to say. He was asked about his familiarity with Barcelona and whether that would help him tomorrow. He was also asked about, his reunion with FC Barcelona because since he used to be the coach, now he is coming back as an opponent. And this is what Luis Enrique had to say. And I will take off my logo so you can read better. But in regards to his familiarity with Barcelona, he said, "I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I don't know Xavi as a coach. I know Xavi as a teammate and player. I know the club. I don't know if he can be an advantage, but it's a very important game for me on an emotional level. I'm ready to give everything for the team." Now, in regards to his reunion with Barcelona, he said, "I have a relationship of total love, but my profession and the club that bet on me come first. I want to give PSG victories and titles. I want to be up to the challenge." So Luis Enrique saying, that his familiarity with the club is not really going to help him much because he doesn't know Xavi as a coach. He only knew him as a player. He also talks about that he does have love for Barcelona, but nonetheless, his loyalty right now lays with PSG and that he wants to be up for the challenge. He wants to win trophies with them. So in other words, Luis Enrique saying that tomorrow it's on. He's ready. He's going to go out there with the intention to win, and he wants to win because that's the club that's betting on him is PSG, despite his love for Barcelona. Now, Luis Enrique was asked who embodies more the Barcelona DNA, whether him or Xavi Hernandez. And this is what Luis Enrique had to say. He said, "Without a doubt, me. Look at the data and the titles, the high pressure, no doubt about it. We are two teams with the same idea. We are offensive and we want to recover the ball quickly. This is our goal. We hope to be better than them." So Luis Enrique saying that he thinks he embodies more the Barca DNA than Xavi Hernandez. I disagree with Luis Enrique. I think Xavi Hernandez is definitely the one who embodies more the Barcelona DNA. I think Xavi Hernandez is the embodiment of the Barcelona DNA, period. If Barcelona DNA was a person, it would be Xavi Hernandez. He's someone who went through La Masia. He's someone who spent his whole career as a player at Barcelona. Now he is back as a coach, so he's been there at every stage of his career. He's also won everything there is to win with Barcelona. Sure, Luis Enrique won the treble, but Xavi has won two, and one of them was a sextuple. So I definitely think that Xavi is more the embodiment of the Barcelona DNA, even though his team doesn't play necessarily the Barcelona DNA. But I do disagree with Luis Enrique. But it does highlight one thing, which is the winning mentality of Luis Enrique, where he straight up says, "I'm the best, period." He might not even believe it. He might think that Xavi's more a fit or more embodiment of Barcelona DNA, but he's not going to let his players know that. He's not going to let the fans know that. He's not going to let the media know that. He's going to say, "I'm the best, period," which highlights his total competitive mindset, which keep in mind because it will come up a little bit later. Now, Luis Enrique was asked about the injury because Hakimi will not be available tomorrow. And this is what he had to say. He said, "I have the habit of finding solutions when there are players who can't play. It's normal. You have to be able to overcome injuries. I have my decision, and tomorrow you will see. Everything is possible. You have to use your resources instead of seeing a problem. I see an opportunity." So Luis Enrique pretty much saying he doesn't care that Hakim is injured or that anyone's injured. He has to play with whatever card he's dealt, and whatever the situation it is he's going to make the best out of it, which again highlights his winning mentality, which again, keep in mind because it will come out a little bit later. Now, it was Xavi Hernandez's turn later on, and he was asked about tomorrow's match. And this is what Xavi had to say. He said, "I won't give any clues, but it will be important. They will give us individual duels. Luis Enrique's team are perhaps the most intense in the world. The demand is maximum. We will have to come out of this pressure very well. I think we have worked well. I have seen him. Well, he is Luis Enrique. I have a great relationship with him. He has a team built to win the Champions League. We are facing a very difficult opponent. We are both looking for a similar style. So Xavi Hernandez doing what he always does, which is spend all his energy complimenting the other team. He's saying PSG are a team built to win the Champions League. He says that they are the most intense team. He says that Luis Enrique is one of the greatest coaches in the world. He also said that PSG have the best transitions in the world. So pretty much spent most of the press conference complimenting the opposite team, which I will talk about a little bit later. But let's talk about what he was asked about Ousmane Dembélé. And this is what Xavi had to say. Dembélé and I sent each other a message after the draw and said we would see each other in Paris. I have great respect for him. He decided to come here. It was a challenge for him, and that's why I think PSG are favorites. They took a great player away from us in the summer. Now, the reason I've been saying keep this in mind and keep that in mind because I want to talk about this because I've criticized Xavi Hernandez in the past. When it came to his press conferences, I've always said that Xavi is consistently complimenting the opposing team, making every opposing team make him seem like they're the greatest opponent ever, and that Barcelona are just some small team playing against a bunch of Goliaths. And I want you to contrast hear what Xavi and Luis Enrique are saying. Because when I've criticized Xavi in the past, I've been called toxic. I've been called a hater. I've said that I just criticize Xavi for the sake of criticizing. So don't listen to my criticism. Do this exercise on your own at home and put the statements of Luis Enrique next to Xavi's. On one side, you have Luis Enrique saying, look, I love Barca, but tomorrow I'm going to win. That's my plan. I'm going out there and I'm going to win. Then you look at Xavi and he's like, well, PSG are a Champions League team. They have the best intensity. They have the best transitions. They have the greatest coach. They took away Dembélé, who's one of our greatest players. They are the favorites. And it's like, okay, like, you know, whose coach are you? Because if you're a PSG fan, put yourself in a PSG fan's shoes and you're listening to Luis Enrique and he's saying, we're going to go out there and we're going to win. You're like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then as a Barca fan, you listen to Xavi, and Xavi's like, they're so great. They're the best coach, the best players, the best everything. And you're like, well, maybe I should be worried. Seems like we're playing against the best team. Are we even going to be able to win? And this is what I mean when I criticize Xavi. And again, don't listen to my criticism. Put both statements next to each other and compare and contrast. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have a coach that tells you, tomorrow we're going out, we're going to win, period. I'm the best. I have the best team. We're going to win. Or do you want the coach who says, well, the other team is better. They're favorites. They have a better coach. They have a better player. They're great. They're amazing. I would rather have the coach that believes in my team and says we're going to go out there and win, not that believes every opponent is the best opponent ever and our team is small. Because you might say, well, okay, PSG is a difficult opponent. But Xavi has said these kind of things about teams like Almeria and Getafe, not just PSG. So this is where my problem lies with Xavi. Another thing, Luis Enrique, he's asked about Hakimi. He says, I don't care. Whatever the situation is, I'm going to make the best out of it. What have we heard about Xavi when there's injuries? Excuses, right? The team did not perform because this guy was injured, because the ref, because the sun, because the grass, because the intensity, blah, 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 blah. This is the difference between a coach with a winning mentality and one who has a defeatist mentality. The one with the winning mentality tells you, I don't care what happens. I don't care who's injured. I don't care what's going on. We're going to go out there. We're going to make the best out of what we have, and we're going to win. Versus, oh, well, it's the injured players. Well, the other team is better. Well, the other coach is better. Well, their players are greater. And this is what I'm talking about. But for some reason, Xavi's supporters have inherited that skill of just producing excuse after excuse that they can't even see what I'm talking about here. But again, don't listen to my criticism. Do your own comparisons, and you let me know. Now, the last thing I will say, and it's something very, very unfortunate, but there have been terrorist threats against the Champions League matches for this quarterfinals. It seems that ISIS, through their media outlet, I can't remember the name, they have published this poster with threats. And they have the 4 stadiums on there: Emirates Stadium, Parc des Princes, Metropolitano Arena, and Santiago Bernabeu. So ISIS are threatening that they're going to do attacks on the stadiums during these quarterfinal matches. Of course, today we had 2 quarterfinal matches. Nothing happened, thank God. But we still have 2 more matches tomorrow. Let's pray that security is increased, that everybody is attentive, and that nothing happens, because this is definitely something serious. This is not a joke. This is not a prank. We should all take it serious. And if anybody's watching is going to be on one of those matches, please be careful, be alert. If you see something, say something, because this is not okay. And hopefully this just ends at this, just an announcement and nothing else, because this is very, very scary. And I'm sorry to end it on this note, but I did have to bring it up just in case anybody's going to be out there. Please, please be careful, because this is something serious. But anyways, that is it for tonight. I hope we win tomorrow. We'll do a post-match live analysis. I think we can win. I think we have a good chance of winning, or at least drawing and then winning at home and finishing, with a victory and qualifying to the semifinals. I really, really hope so. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, Visca Barca, and I will see you tomorrow in a post-match live analysis.